Hello and welcome to this taste challenge, mid-morning taste challenge. We have two North American brandies, and if I'm not mistaken, these are the last two for the series brandy. But sometimes I overlook things. If so, I'll have to backtrack. I think I covered everything. It's so aggravating when I feel like I haven't. But this is Presidente, introduced in 1973 by Pedro Domecq. You see right there, it says Casa, House of Pedro Domecq, into Mexico. And there's the Pedro Domecq symbol there in the middle, embossed on the glass bottle, molded glass bottle. Pedro Domecq, he started producing brandy over there in Spain in 1874. And then in 1973, they started a distillery in Mexico producing brandy. Now, I tried the Pedro Domecq Fundador from Spain. I have a bottle. And I tried this one side by side in a blind taste test, and I couldn't tell them apart. I didn't even attempt to try to. I said to me they tasted identical, and I called it a tie. So now I'm down. I'm starting to win, like most of the challenges. So I'm going to finish with a winning record. But it was tough. Presidente is a little bit different than other brandies, but it's not much different. And so I would say in the case of this product, you could just shop price, go with whatever is cheaper. But in this case it was, because I went to Star and I saw this in Star in Kenner, Louisiana, and it was $12.99. The normal price is about $17, but I got it for $12.99 last month. So I bought it. Okay, oops, dribble a little on the desk there. Have to clean that up in a moment. So that's Pedro Domecq. This is the new 2024 label. If you go to your local liquor store, they're probably going to have the older bottle, but they might have the new ones now. We got them. So, of course, I'm one state over from Mexico. If you live up in Vermont, New Hampshire, you might not get it for a while. But I'm only a 10-hour drive from Mexico. It's actually maybe more like 8 hours, but I usually stop and do things on the way, so it ends up being 10. Here's Hervé Superior Reserve Extra Smooth VSOP brandy. Hervé, French word for Harvey. Yeah, and I bought this at Hocus Pocus Liquors, and you can see the bottle. It's the old Weller bottle. It's the current very old Barton bottle, although it's clear. It says the Founders Company, but if you know anything about very old Barton or Weller, or if you've seen Two Stars brandy, you'll know this bottle and you'll know who makes it. Introduced in 2019, VSOP, aged 4 to 6 years, typically. Yeah, poured a little bit too much. It says brandy with natural flavors and caramel color. That doesn't really mean much. Honestly, I'll tell you about that in a minute. So to say that a brandy brand has natural flavoring and caramel color doesn't really mean much, because if you look at the U.S. regulations, you're allowed to add coloring and flavoring, caramel color and natural flavors to brandy, and you don't have to disclose it. So the Hervé is a little lighter, and the Pedro Domecq Presidente is a little bit darker, more copper, and this is more amber. And but anyway, Sazerac, and they do own the Founders Company. I'll just tell you that straight up. Although most people probably guessed already that it was a Sazerac brand. They're usually pretty good about. There's a problem with this cap, as you can see. They're usually pretty good about letting you know if they're adding coloring or flavoring to their products. Whew, glad this is finished, and it's going to be finished today. Okay, let's see comments. Herbie says, good morning. Good morning to you, Herbie, in India. Jason Cleveland says, good morning, Jay, from Socialist Western Washington. Good morning to you. In that so-called People's Republic. People's Republics are interesting because they're not really republics and they're not run by the people, but they sound good. You know, propagandists like to promote all that, you know. No, Maine. There's that squealing refrigerator. Still hasn't broken. Maybe it won't. It just makes a terrible noise when it starts cycling. All right, so I'm going to have to close my eyes because if I see the darker shade, I'll know it's the Presidente, which is darker. It uses the Solara method. So Presidente uses Solara production, and so they could not have an age statement because the Solara method is like 10 different barrels dumped one into the other year by year. So it can't have an age statement because it's all different ages put together. I mean, if you could somehow figure out what would be the youngest brandy in there, you could have an age statement, which at the way I'm thinking it would be a minimum of 10 years. So it's you might have brandies in there that are 100 years old. You might have some in there that are only 10 years old. Now the Hervé has no age statement, but like I said, being a VSOP, it's probably 4 to 6 years. And considering the price point, more like 4 years. This was $8.99, $8.99 at Hocus Pocus Liquors, but that was 3 years ago in Prairieville, Louisiana. Prairieville. It's the name of it, Prairieville, on United States Highway 61 northbound. But I checked their website recently and it was $8.99, so it went up $1. And when I bought it, it was on sale. It was like a special offer price. So it might have been $9.99 all along. Now, there's a similar bottle design from Hartley VSOP brandy. I don't think it's quite the same, but it's no. You know what? It is the same. Now that I'm looking at, if I go to Winn-Dixie and buy Hartley, it's the same bottle design and it's $8.99 this month. I'm gonna probably buy a bottle just for a revisit and to see if they're similar in some ways. Hartley's made with Italian brandy. It's pretty low grade stuff. But I'm going to revisit it, give it a chance, try to be somewhat open-minded about it, as much as I'm able to be. Maybe I'll buy it next week, next Tuesday or something. Okay. It smells like vanilla and some spices. Could spices be a flavoring? They got flavor, but it's probably more like vanilla. But it could be some kind of I don't know. It smells like it. This smells like more pure grape. Now, the Presidente, if you look at the bottle, that says 100% grapes. That's what it says on the bottle. 100 says on the front and the back, 100% grapes, which I'm interpreting as no flavoring, no coloring, no nothing, just grapes. They make the wine out of it. They distill it, make the brandy, distill it, the clear grape distillate, put it in the barrels and start that Solara method. And 10 years after they dump it, then it's ready to go after it's been mixed and dumped and mixed and dumped and mixed and dumped and so forth. All right, taste Chaz. Yeah, a lot of grape leaves. It's very leafy. It's tannic in a way, like tea leaves, but its grape leaves are more acidic than tannic, I guess. But you might find it very offensive, like, oh, what is this? Chewing on a leaf? You know, where's the sweetness? Where's the sugariness and all that? I don't know. It's not here. Uh, it's more on the dry side. I think they're using white wine. It's like golden raisins. And so you might find it a little rough or something. I find it developed. There's an oak barrel also. I'm not saying it's a connoisseur brandy, but you know, it is better than you would think. You say $12.99. I bet that thing is a nightmare. No, 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 no. No, let's go with this Hervé. Harvey. It's a French word, Harvey, Hervé. Apparently it means battle ready. That's why they're making the label look like a knight in armor. Like it's battle ready. You don't want to lose this battle. Oh yeah. Very clearly flavored. Is there an underlining? Is it is there an underlying golden raisin aspect? There is, and there is some barrel action, oak barrel, because I know that Sazerac owns Parmesan now. They used to age Parmesan under contract, and then they just outright bought it. So when I was at the Bardstown distillery over there, Barton 1792 distillery, you've seen those whiskeys, they're pretty popular. The lady was saying most of the, and she was telling me they had 22,000 barrels in that rick house we were in. They had so many rick houses. She said most of the barrels in this rick house do not contain bourbon, however. She said, do you know what they contain? And I was thinking about what I had been reading. I said, brandy. She said, right. We age Parmesan brandy here. And that's when they did it under contract. Now they own it. So I think if you get the new bottles of Parmesan Grand Amber Brandy VS or the VSOP, the higher grade, which is on par with this one, I think those bottles today, don't know, don't remember, but I do believe they say brandy with natural flavors and caramel color. So this could be something very similar. I didn't say it was the same. I said very similar and bottled with a different label in there. Yeah. And you can get the big handle bottle if you want that. Now you see, I think there could be vanilla added, vanilla extract, natural vanilla extract, not artificial vanilla. Well, it couldn't be artificial, it wouldn't be natural flavor. But I think there's also a spice in it. What is the spice? I don't know if they can count spice as a flavoring. They might have to call that spices, like the Corbel spiced brandy. I really don't know I don't even quite understand the regulations with that relative to that, but to me, it's a natural flavor. If it was cinnamon, it's from nature, right? But you say, but you don't understand the intricacies of that. And the answer for me would be, you're right. I don't. So I don't know if a spice would qualify as a natural flavor or if they would have to list it as a spice. But I'm definitely picking up what I think. I'm really sure about it in a sense that I think I might be sure. I think it might be vanilla. And it does taste like a spice. So there's two ways they could. I'm going to call it now. I'm going to say this is the Hervé. It is. I got tired. I have my eyes closed. I think there's two ways they could approach this product when they ship it. They could ship it as brandy with natural flavors and caramel color, or they could ship it and the carton might say brandy DSS. Kentucky. DSS would mean distilled spirit specialty. Distilled spirit specialty. That's a class of liquor that means that it's not exactly any class because of certain things, but if you call it that, it can be anything. It could be brandy with natural flavors, distilled. It wouldn't be a liqueur necessarily, but it wouldn't necessarily not be a liqueur. You see what I'm saying? No, I mean, it would just be a distilled. Here comes the train. A distilled spirit. You say, well, all that liquor's distilled spirits. Correct. Distilled spirit, but then the third word is what clinches it, specialty. It's a catch-all category. And you know what I'm noticing? A lot more liquor companies are shipping their stuff as DSS. That means they register with the government as a DSS. Why would they do that? Well, the answer is obvious. That way they're not like Elvis Presley, caught in a trap in which they can't walk out. In other words, they wouldn't have to worry about some technical thing like, oh, we got you. That can't be a bourbon because blah, blah, blah. And then they could say, oh, we didn't say it was a bourbon. We said it was a DSS. Look at the label. Look at the carton. It says DSS. The bottle says bourbon with natural flavors. Obviously, it's highly illegal to sell bourbon with flavoring. You can't add flavor to bourbon. Everybody knows that. Just look up the regs. Totally outlawed. Unless you sell bourbon with natural flavors. Put that right on the shelf. How you like that law, huh? Can't sell flavored bourbon, but you can sell bourbon with natural flavors. See how different that is? Quite different. You got that Presidente in Mexico, right? No. Butch Willie. I did buy the Presidente in Mexico years ago, the half-size bottle, but it was 35% alcohol. And I was so appalled when I got home and took it out my luggage. I was like, wait a minute. I didn't realize in Mexico it's only sold at 35%. I was disgusted with that. But this one I bought in Kenner, Louisiana at Star, and it was 40. In the U.S., it's sold at 40 proof, 80 proof, 40%. Has to be because in the United States, brandy must be 40% alcohol or higher. Goes lower than 40, it's not a brandy. You can call it something else. Call it a liqueur or something. But they want it to be a brandy, a Mexican brandy. In fact, I think it's the top selling Mexican brandy. So, yeah, they just make it higher proof for the United States market. It tastes a lot better too, I gotta admit. I just joined, so I'm sorry if you're repeating yourself. No, that's all right. I'm also drinking now, says Herbie. Uh-oh. Butch says, I still can't believe you have a bottle of brandy from 1954. I can't believe it either. But my neighbor next door, like I said, she bought it at an estate sale. And you know what? It's probably that, let's say some people got married in this town in 1954. So they were 20 years old. So they were born in 34. Now they got old and they passed away in, let's say, 5 years ago in their late 80s. They probably never opened the bottle because they weren't interested in brandy or any liquor. And they got people like that. Somebody gives them a gift. Oh, thanks. They put it somewhere in a cabinet. Never touch it. Sets there 60 years. They pass away. The children don't want it. They don't want the house. They auction everything off. They sell the house. All right. They have an estate sale. So she goes over there and she bought 3 bottles of Ballantine Scotch, 100 milliliter bottles. I think she said she paid $1 for those, which that's not that great of a deal. And then she Well, actually, it is a good deal considering what Valentine sells for, but it's not that great of a deal. But it was interesting to see those old bottles, glass too, not plastic like today. And then she bought this the cognac, the biscuit and debouché cognac for $1. And I said, "You drink cognac?" I don't. I always see her drinking Bud Light. I say, "You drink cognac?" Oh no, she said, "No, I don't drink that kind of stuff." I said, "Well, why'd you buy it?" She said it was $1. She bought it because it was $1. She said, "You could have it. I'm never going to drink it." I said, "No, I'm not over here to take your brandy, your liquor." I was just after the hurricane. We had no electricity for 2 weeks, so we were just hanging out, talk. The fence was all blown down and everything. So she said, "No, you could have it." I said, "You sure about this?" "Yeah, take it. It's going to waste." So we opened it, and the story I talked about. The cap was deteriorated and everything. But it was a great deal. $1. Is it a good cognac? You better believe it is. You better believe it's good. My friend David was amazed by it, and that's their low grade. Now think about that. That's their low grade. Their VS. That's their cheap 2 to 4 year age. I mean, it's like really cheap. I mean, it's cheaply made, but it ain't exactly cheap. If you buy it at a liquor store, it might be like $45. Then they got their VSOP and their XO. You don't even want to think about what the XO is going to cost. I saw it. I was looking it up online the other day. It was like $175, a while back. So, but it was really, really wonderful. So how does it compare to these other American VS brandies like Paul Masson and Christian Brothers, E&J? It wipes them out. There really is no comparison. You say, but that's 1954. That's true. You say, what about today's biscuit and debouché VS? It could be different. Might be cheap. I don't know. I never had it. I can't say. Okay, let's go to the comments. Hey Jay, you ever tried Glenfarclas single malt? No, but I'm aware of it and I know about it. My grandfather used to drink it. Wesley, I know about it, and chances are I will try it. I'm making my way through single malt Scotch. The last one I did wasn't too good though. That Trader Joe's 8 year age, that thing was a mess. Oh man, on its own merits, it was all right, but when I started putting it into competition, it just got demolished. It was a tragedy. But I got this 10-year-old Trader Joe's Highland single malt. Maybe it'll be better. I don't know. Yeah, alcohol abuse. That's what that was. That was a hard series to complete because it was like, now I got to go through this again with this fiasco product. But this hasn't been like that. This Presidente, it's inexpensive, $12.99 on sale, but it's really good. So I think you're not taking any risk buying it. But watch out. Be cognizant. Look at your ABV when you buy the bottle. If it says made in Mexico 35%, you can put it right back on the shelf. Make sure it says 40%. I'm telling you, because I've had both. That 35%, that thing was bitey and was not nice. It was not nice. It was not a friendly product. But this is not bitey. It's smooth. But like I said, it has that leafy thing. Now, if you're sensitive, now I know a lot of people, they're real sensitive, like to flavors and everything. Like, oh, it tastes like leaves. I can't drink it. You might not want to buy it. But if you like sort of like tropical flavors, you know what I mean? Like, if you want to say unrefined flavors, and I mean unrefined in the sense that it's not well made. I don't mean it's not well made. I mean like it's not corporate today's smoothed out products, which they're so smoothed out, they're just like nothing. It's like watching these television shows. It's like, what did I just watch? A piece of styrofoam? And it's like music today. Everything you say, every song does not have to say woo, whoa, whoa, whoa. They do that to fill it because it got nothing. There's no substance to the song. I've grown to enjoy the burning sensation that Glenfarclas gives. It's about $50 for $7.50 here in Massachusetts, says Wesley. Yeah, I think I would like it. I really do think I would like it, and it's no knock. I can get it right there, half a mile away. I know Methuen. Oh well, 1 mile. Oh, big deal, 1 mile. I know Matherns has that. It's just a matter of expediency, it's a matter of getting through the products. So I've done the brandy. Now we're going into rum, but I got this clear rum. Okay, look. Calypso, is it a great rum? I'm pretty sure it's not, which is why it was $5.89 for the bottle. But it's been around for a long time, believe it or not. Calypso has been around. You say they got a lot of alcoholics and bums and transients. So like, well, I don't know, but anyway, it has been around. I think it's got a new owner. I think Sazerac is not the people that. I don't think they developed it. I think it was Barton that developed it. It's questionable in many ways, mostly because of the label. The label design is like doesn't make any sense. But and the availability in Louisiana is basically nil. It doesn't exist here. But I did buy it in Orange, Texas. So Texas is apparently a big deal in Texas. I think most of the comments I got were from Texas. People saying, "When are you going to try Calypso?" And the same thing with Pontalba rum. Ron Pontalba. They were saying, "When are you going to try Ron Pontalba, son?" And I don't know what that is. And it is around Louisiana. I did find that out. But apparently it's big in Texas. So, but Texas is like a whole other country. They get different beer that we get. They get a whole lot of different liquor. Like they get the Jack Daniel's green label. That doesn't exist in Louisiana. You talk to Louisiana people, they never heard of Jack Daniel's green label. That's like maybe you were taking medicine and you got delirious and disoriented and you're talking about Jack Daniel's green label. But if you go to Texas, every liquor store has Jack Daniel's green label. It's just common. And my friend Paul, who lives in Texas, he says to me on the phone, he says, "Isn't that the regular Jack Daniel's?" I said, "Yeah, in Texas." I said, "Everywhere else, it's unheard of." So he was thinking like, "What are you talking about? That's just the regular Jack Daniel's, right?" And I said, "No, it's the black label everywhere else." So he was finding out strange, that people found it exotic. Okay, so then I'll do the rum, and then I'll go into the tequila, and I have a tequila. It's going to be very interesting. I really can't wait. I'm so excited. I want to jump the gun, like Mother Superior, jump the gun, but I'm not going to. And then I've got the mezcal, which I never had this mezcal, and I've not opened it, the bottle, and I haven't even researched it, but I'm pretty excited. It looks great. The bottle looks great. It might be shabby, but the bottle looks great. They did a great presentation on it, and I didn't pay too much, like $26.99. And then it's back to rye whiskey, which I never don't get excited about rye whiskey. I'm basically like a perpetual motion machine. I'm always excited about rye whiskey. I wake up excited about rye whiskey. I spend the day excited about rye whiskey. I settle down for the evening excited about rye whiskey, and I go to sleep and sleep through the night excited about rye whiskey. You say it's a sickness. It is, but I'm geared to it. I've grown. Okay. I just bought some Margaritaville Blanco yesterday. Have you heard of it? I've not only heard of it, I'm very familiar with it. I know it's made by Sazerac. What's new? Walmart has it all day long. They've got Margaritaville Blanco. They've got Margaritaville Gold in the big jug bottles, glass, thank you, or the regular. They've got Margaritaville rum and white rum and gold rum, white tequila, gold tequila. They've got Margaritaville, all those mixture products. Like those liqueur, like iced tea, stuff like that, crazy stuff. They've got Margaritaville's Land Shark Lager. Well, that's a beer, so it's contracted out to Anheuser-Busch. I saw a bunch of Land Shark coming into a store yesterday. I saw a pallet full of Land Shark, but that's a Margaritaville product. Jimmy Buffett, he made more money, I think, off of Margaritaville than he made off of music. He died, unfortunately, as we all will, but his family's still making it. a big profit. Oh, that's nice. I'm a fan of the glass bottle, which is a kind of unusual for the price. Right. It's a low price for that big handle, but it's glass. They could have gone plastic. All right. So, final story. Do I think the Hervé is good enough to buy? I think it's better than good enough to buy. I think it's quite interesting. It's strange, it's a little peculiar. You might find it a little bit too peculiar, but I like it, and I like the bottle design. Well, it's a common Sazerac bottle, but I like the whole like chainmail. Like if you look at this up close, if you have a bottle at hand, it looks like chainmail, like that medieval thing. It's a nice looking bottle. It's super inexpensive, but it tastes good. It's good and interesting, and I like good and interesting. That suits me. Presidente, that's a classic for over 50 years. It's like big in Mexico. If you go to Mexico on a trip, like in my case, driving there, because I've driven there many times, or if you fly there, I mean, literally every liquor store and bar room is going to have Presidente. That's going to happen. It's like the United States. Every liquor store is going to have Jim Beam. There's not going to be an exception. They're going to have it. And they're going to have Jose Cuervo tequila, right? If they have, you say, what tequila do you have? We only have one. Well, when they say they only have one, you know what it is. It's going to be Cuervo. If they, there's going to be some baseline at these places. So they're going to have, I've been to Mexico so many times. They're going to have Presidente. They're going to always have Corona. Now, people will like to say, these are Americans talking. They don't know much about Mexico. They'll say, Mexicans don't like Corona. I say, well, that's news to me and news to them too, because I've been to Mexico, and every time I go to a grocery store in Mexico, I see people buying Corona here, there, and Bud Light. They like Bud Light. So they don't like Corona, but they're buying it all. They buy it all day long. They don't like Taco Bell. They don't like Taco Bell, but they eat there all the time. They just don't like it. That's why they eat there, because they don't like it. But yeah, they're going to have this. And if you go to Mexico, they're going to have Tecate Beer. They're going to have Corona. They're going to have Modelo, naturally, obviously. They're going to have Estrella Galicia. They're going to have Bohemia. Well, yeah, Bohemia is kind of like, not that. But they're going to have the first ones I named. Of course, Carta Blanca. Of course, Sol. The normal stuff, and they're all going to have Heineken. Funny thing, Mexico, right? Not part of the Netherlands, but every beer outlet in Mexico will have Heineken. You can rest assured of that, and Budweiser. I said Budweiser. I didn't say Bud Light, but they'll have that too. But they'll have Budweiser. But a Heineken. Oh yeah, when I went to Europe, absolutely every liquor, wine, and beer store, grocery store had Budweiser. That is an absolute fact. I went to so many Budweiser, both can, bottle, and I was in England. This was the shock, because they were telling me, they said, oh, well, Budweiser is only 4.6% here in England. And I said, that's a tragedy. It's disgusting. 4.6, because in America it's 5. So I went to one beer store in England the whole time I was there. Well, at the airport, that was a little bit different. But I was on the street in London, walking down the street. It was so cold too. Oh. So I went to it's called Asian Superstore. Asian Superstore. It really was a superstore. But I went in there. I looked in the cooler, Budweiser. Pint cans, tall cans, 16.9. Nah, they might have been just regular pints, 16 ounces. I'm not going to say they were 500 milliliter. But I said, oh, look, the British Budweiser. So I'm looking over there. I was taken aback. 5%. I said, woof, 5%. But I didn't have time to examine. I need to get back to the hotel and all. But I said, 5%. I looked again at the can. Looked at all the cans, 5%. I said, is this the British brewed Budweiser, or is this an import from St. Louis? Oh, couldn't get over that. Couldn't get over that. But the whole point is when I went to Gibraltar, Budweiser, every store sell Budweiser. Spain, everybody sold Budweiser. Spanish Africa, I was in Africa. Every store had Budweiser. Now I don't know if it's popular, but it's got to be popular if everybody stocks it. Not Bud Light though. Now you see, light beer is not that big over there, but everybody had Budweiser. I mean Budweiser. I mean Budweiser, and Heineken. Boy, don't even get that wrong. Okay, so we're gonna close it out. I like to keep my head, so I might avoid Mexico. Yeah, Mexico. I don't know what to say. I mean, it's been a while since I've been there. Maybe 10 years. I might go. I might go this year. I might go. I might drive there and just drive along the border, all the way from the bottom to the top. I mean, I'm not joking about that. From Brownsville and go to every town, all the way. But they'll tag. But the problem is they'll tag your passport. If you keep crossing back and forth, to be like, why do you keep crossing back and forth? Just looking around. They don't want to hear that you looking around, you know. Then they want to search you, think you up to something. But I'm gonna tell them this time. I say, look, I do videos on YouTube. I make videos about beer. You can look it up. Oh right, border. What border? Well, yeah, they'll search me, but other people. But anyway, I bet you I could fill a trunk full of stuff if I went there. I wouldn't buy the liquor; it's too low. But I would buy the beer. Yeah. Oh yeah. Taco Bell is very popular in Costa Rica. Really, Costa Rica? I went there, but that was 1985. I didn't see a Taco Bell. But that was a little while back. I think Heineken is now the world's largest brewer. It's got to be craft beer tastic because when I was, like I said, on that trip, every when I was at the airport waiting, being bored out of my mind for the plane, every bar, you know, on tap, the draft, Heineken, everybody. That was Gibraltar. What they didn't have? Did they have a bar? No, maybe a restaurant. I think Gibraltar, London, New Orleans, of course, Dallas, Fort Worth. Every place had a Heineken on draft, and that is not a joke. And the people were buying it left and right because they don't know beer. You know, you know how that goes. All right, so I would prefer the Presidente, because I like the leafy quality, the little more developed vegetable. And when I say vegetable, I mean leaf, not the actual fruit, the vegetable, the leaf, the vegetative thing, which, like I say, might turn you off, that oakiness. Hervé, I like it, and I would recommend it. So I like both of these. I just prefer this, but I do like that. And they don't taste alike. All right, so sorry for the long video. But now we on to rum. And some people love rum videos. Other people hate them, you know. But most people love the rum videos. So get ready for Calypso.